Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for August 8th, 2021. 2021. A lot of great stuff going on with Masterpiece this week. X-Transbots putting quite a bit of reveals out there this week for figures no one else is making, so we're going to talk about that. We've got a little bit of Legends news, a bit of mainline news, a little bit going on in a few different areas, such as Centurions, such as Gijoe, and yes, actual Star Wars news this week. We're going to talk about all this coming up, and now the news. Don't touch that dial. First off, as usual, a few things that I find at Show Z, and there is a pre-order for Bad Cube's Sun Searcher, their version of Sunstreaker, and it is going to be $70. It's 7 inches tall, comes with this chrome missiles as intake, rims and spoiler, and chrome rims and spoiler. You've got two different versions, the silver and the chrome on those. But hey, if you don't have the Takara version, or you can't track one of those down, and you can get this. But a lot of people say they like this one better than Takara. You might be in that camp. There's a couple of Voltrons. There's this Titan Power TP01B Titan Beast King Voltron Metallic version for $140, $2 down pre-order. So it's not quite in yet. And this thing is about 12 inches tall, so pretty much on standard with the original version and the SoC version and all that kind of stuff. Non-transformable, no light-up head. Weapons include the sword, shield, spear, 5 daggers, and a brand new metal painting. There's also pre-orders for this Lucky Cat Micro Cosmo, the CM01 Elvis Voltron, and it is a set of 5 combining Voltrons. It is $82 at shows. Well, I think $83, and it is made of die-cast and plastic, and it's basically 5 minifigures. They're going to combine and have a height of 6.3 inches, and it does come with those accessories in there. It looks pretty interesting, and it also sort of transforms into cubes. Jumping on that cube trend here. So the Black Lion is its own cube, the arms are another cube, and then the legs become another cube. Sort of interesting. Definitely a take on Voltron that I have never seen before. And they also have up for pre-order for $2 down each, 2 different versions of the Quintazon Inquisitor. So here's the thing. This is going to be a La Pulpa and a La Pulpus, and it's the MX-19B. And as you can see, they look different. And there are 2 options. You can either get both, or one, or the other. And I've already pre-ordered both. I don't know why. I didn't know so much which one I was going to get, so I pre-ordered both. So anyway, this is going to have a lot of electronics in it. It does look pretty good. It is very interesting, but there's a video they put out. So they put out a video showcasing how it works and what all the features are. So a couple of things here. First of all, they use the term Shark Robots instead of Sharkticon. So that is definitely a licensing thing, a way to step around and get around the licensing situation. The tentacles, I think, are supposed to have some sort of a rubbery coating and inside kind of a wire. So you should be able to move them and display them however you want. And has a spinning mechanism, light up lower area, the little pedestal, and the light up eyes and all of that. So looks really good. I'm glad I ordered several of those batteries, but I just don't know where I put them. But I'm looking forward to this. It's quite interesting. Now with X-Transbots, they're also coming out with their Fast and their Fury, the MX-28 and the MX-29. They're runabout, run amok. These figures look great. I mean, they look amazing. And they're making something that nobody else is making. Nobody else is going after these characters and after these figures. And they're giving us some more obscure characters. And we're not just rebuying the same characters over and over. That makes it a little bit more fun and a little bit more exciting. Now, here they go with the alt mode. And it shows that they have opening hoods. They have opening doors. There's a lot going on here. And with this much going on, it starts to make me wonder, what will the transformation be like? Now, I was concerned about that when we saw Fuzz, and Fuzz is a challenge. Are we going to have to get really good at transforming Fuzz-like figures coming up? Or have they figured out a way to do this and it not be so extremely fiddly in the transformation department? This is a really nice comparison put together by Cheem, so you can kind of see the alt modes, you can see the bot modes compared to animation or the Sunbow, whatever, but still pretty close, and it looks good. I mean, these do look great. X-Transbots and KFC for that matter, they really nail the sculpt. They really make it look super duper tuned in G1, or as close to it as we're probably going to get. We do kind of have to pay for it, the transformation, a little bit sometimes, but I do like them. I've got them pre-ordered, and they're going to be $100 each, so not too bad for these figures. Rolling into Punch and Counter Punch, and Cheem put together, right away, a great comparison of these, and used actual stills from the cartoon, so I like that. I really like those stills from the cartoon. Maybe because they weren't available with the Sunbow, obviously, but still, there's two versions. There is the American version, that's the left one, and on the right, you have the Japanese version, and a lot of people did comment the Japanese head looks cooler. It is a cool looking head on there, so that is awesome. I really do like the look of this, and I think it might make sense to order one American version and one Japanese version so you could have one as Punch and one as Counter Punch. They're also getting really clever with the naming convention here, and it's Bond and James. It's Bond. James Bond. So really a cool take on the 007 on a spy, working both sides there. And also the Fiero. The Fiero looks amazing. That is a really nice looking alt mode with the pop-up lights and all of that. Looks super spot on as a Fiero. So this is a great release, and I look forward to it, even though it may be a crazy transformation. We won't really know till we get it in hand. So this is due out in third quarter of 2022, and then the Runabout Runamuck is in second quarter of 2022. So we've got some movie masterpiece Optimus Primes showing up at Targets, that's a big deal. I'm not gonna lie, a big deal seeing any masterpiece figures at retail, and it's exciting. And this is the one that I think there's upgrade kits coming out, the Dr. Wu upgrade kit for the arms, and I think there's a slew more upgrade kits coming for this thing. But to be able to buy it at retail is exciting. I would get excited about it, and if I see it, I probably will have to pick it up myself. So KFC Toys put out another picture of their P14 Rajan. This is going to be their Power Master Prime, and this is the Optimus Prime that would convert into the chest. And one thing that I should have known this, and I don't know why in my mind I didn't put it together, but it's the same size as like MP10, and it could be your MP10, or it could be your Prime. It could be your Display Optimus Prime if you choose for it to be. And then, of course, he'll build up into a massive, gigantic Power Master Optimus Prime. So really looking good, and this picture, this shot, and this comparison, that looks great. So we got some pictures of Flames Toys model kit that you put together, and it's funny, all those commercials from back in the day, a lot of Star Wars commercials too, but a lot of these say, and you have to put it together or whatever in there, so you do have to put this together. It looks pretty interesting, this Rodimus, and it's one of those stylized versions, and it does have some articulation to it, and Flames Toys does a really good job, and I think this is another thing you're actually going to be able to buy in the store at Hobby Lobby, because that's where I've seen them. This doesn't have to be something ordered through third party. I think this will be, because there's so many of them at Hobby Lobby right now, and there's the model kits and all that stuff. So check out your Hobby Lobby if you're looking for this, or pre-order through your conventional means. So New Age has put out another picture, and a couple of other pictures. This is the only one I was able to grab, but it shows their Optimus Prime, and I still think somehow this is like the digital version of their Ultra Magnus, but they're coming out very soon. And one thing is the Prime, and when they have a couple other pictures I saw, and I didn't grab them when I saw them, and I can't find them again, but they blurred out the Optimus, the symbol, the Autobot symbol. So is it going to ship with an Autobot symbol on it? Like, that's interesting, because you don't see that in third party, you don't see it in Legends, you don't see it like that. Is that something that they're going to do? Because that's really interesting. That's not something I've seen them do in the past. So here's a look at their H27W Conquest, the Ultra Magnus core, and you can see, looks to me like there's like all kinds of die-cast hardware inside of it, so that's really good too. And it's just interesting how they're showing it. They're showing this picture, so they're moving along, and I don't know, it's gonna be tough because the Magic Square trailer is showing up, and that is a full-on parts forward trailer. I'm sure this thing is going to be different than how Magic Square goes about it, but I'm curious which one will be better. And in case you missed out on the McFans Toys Blitzwing, this is a recolor that should be coming soon. So up for pre-order at ShowZ right now also. But I do think it's a really cool version. It's slightly different color one. And I think the original one is hard to get. It's sold out and hard to get with that color. And if you have the original and you like it, you might put this in a different mode. Since there are 3 modes. Pretty light news week on the Legends front there, but a lot going on with the Masterpiece. Getting into mainline stuff here, though, we do have the Target Red Card exclusive of this figure here. This is the Maximal T-Rex, which it's interesting because there's a ton of them at Target. So it shows up with just a whole bunch of them at your Target. But the other thing is, I wanted to scan one and see how much they are. $53. So yeah, the struggle is real, and these prices are going up. And I don't know if it's just its exclusive, or if all leader classes are going to hit that $53 price point, because I thought it was supposed to stay $49.99, and I hope it's just because this is an exclusive pricing. Other things showing up at retail are Studio Series Wreck-Gar and Studio Series Thrust, and this Wreck-Gar looks amazing. And I've actually watched 6 reviews on this guy, because I wanted to know some stuff, but I think it looks great, and I'm really excited for him, and now I'm curious how many iterations of this they could make for us for $30, decking out a shelf of $30 figures and have like 5 different types of Junkions. It's way easier than 120 a piece with what we're getting with KFC. So we got some in-hand images of the Generation Selects Artfire Nightstick, and it does look pretty good. It looks pretty cool. This is a good mold that they've made, and it's interesting how they started with Grapple, then they went to the Inferno, which is what everybody wanted, which I think down the road is going to be a really sought-after figure, because he does look pretty good, and he is a pretty main character. But this is a great-looking set. And here's the alt mode, and yeah, that looks pretty good. So shout out to Hang Yoden. So we've got more news. Well, this is brand new. This is a shot of the Kingdom Deluxe Shadow Panther, and then they're saying that it's a possible first look at this one, but pretty interesting what's going on here. A whole different head going on, and I'm not as deep into the Beast Wars, so I don't really know about Shadow Panther so much, so maybe I will learn and get schooled on that one, but it still looks cool. And then this whole Cheetor mold, and that's pretty cool too, the way it is. And again, sorry for jumping around with Beast Wars and all this stuff, but the way it falls is the way it falls, I guess. And it falls into a little more information on red. So we're in the red zone here. So we fell into the red zone. And we've got a Cliff Jumper from G1. And then we have a Prime Dark Energon Megatron. And so with that, these are interesting for a lot of reasons. I think that Prime Megatron is going to look really cool. That's definitely a great contender for this line. But Cliff Jumper's going to be as big as Bumblebee, probably. It's almost guaranteed. A repaint and pop a new head on there and all this stuff. So it's strange having such big characters, and it's hard to kind of get your mind around how big they are. I always thought I wanted Bumblebee bigger than being just so super small, but I don't know if I want them this big, or Cliff Jumper for that matter. So Shockwave's Lab is making the SL0111, and it's the eye light up kit for Unicron. You do have to take his head apart and put these LEDs in there, and it is going to have the magnetic sensor to turn them on and off, like we've seen in a couple of other things. So with this, this looks pretty good. Making these micro LED compartments is interesting, but I've seen other people do it, and I've seen other people light up the entire ring. So that's interesting also. I don't know if something's coming for that in the future or not, but this is kind of interesting, and if you do this, I think this takes the minimum amount of ability and skill to install. And the discussion is going to continue to rage on because they are saying that this is Mirage. The first time I had said there's Mirage as a Porsche, that a lot of people said, no, that's really Jazz, and no, they keep saying it's Mirage. So here we are with the Mirage's portion. It's a big deal to a lot of people, but I'm not really that bothered by it because we're still going to be getting G1 representations of Mirages in different iterations, way, shape, or form. Heck, I have enough to be happy with, so it's not really going to bother me that much. So getting into a couple of other things, G.I. Joe Classified, you should start getting your Snake Eyes and Timber this past week if you've pre-ordered them already. I think BBTS has already shipped theirs, which aren't they usually the last to ship stuff? But anyhow, I'm thinking that this is available at several different places and several different outlets, but I got mine from BBTS. Thing is, I'm not as excited to open it because I already got a Snake Eyes. I don't need 2 or 3 Snake Eyes when I don't even have a Shipwreck or a Spirit or any of those figures yet. So Ramen Toys has a colored test shot of their naval commander. This is the Max, and it's a Centurion or a not Centurion 80s commanders. I want to say that it looks amazing, and I also want to say that the colors are more vibrant and pop way more than they did in their renders. And this is in a picture of a real test shot that's been painted, and I think it looks great. The paint will match exactly to the plastic color, so all of that's going to work. This looks great. I'm even more excited about these now than when I placed my order for 2 sets a couple months ago. So this thing from the side here, just looking at all of the accessories and how they're colored and how they work and how they fit, just looks great. And I am excited. I'm excited to see more of what's coming on the way from Ramen Toys. So we're getting the Target exclusive Vintage Collection prototype edition of Boba Fett. And Boba Fett, here's the thing, I really was not dialed in on what they're doing here. And I thought, oh, just some random colors. And I thought they'd all be randomly colored exactly the same, like all the heads would be the same. So this, I think I've cracked the code, and there are 6 different versions. These 6 different versions, so if you have a red chest, then he's going to have the orange arm and the green leg and all this stuff. That's how it's going to work. And then you've got purple chest, he's going to have the blue and the orange leg. And if you have the blue chest, I think I cracked the code. I think there's 6 versions, and I got a picture that sort of proves it. But then, of course, there might be 100 pictures out there that disprove it. And here we go. So you got the red chest, and all the other appendages are the same. And I checked eBay, and it's pretty consistent all the way across, all of them so far that I've seen on eBay. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of fun if you even care. Another Target exclusive is the Rogue One Antok Merrick's X-Wing. This is a big X-Wing, big one. And the thing about this is that it's going to be slightly recolored and all that. If you missed the last go-around, you get another opportunity to get it. And you're going to be getting it from Target as an exclusive. I don't know how well this will be distributed, or I really don't even know how well it's going to go over, if people will be excited to even get it, if it's going to be hard to get, or all that. So here's the figure that I believe is just included with this. So I think that's the way it's going. But there it is, and it looks interesting. So if you're still in on the Vintage Collection, sticking with the Vintage Collection, we're supposed to be seeing these figures hit the distribution centers in big numbers. So this is probably going to hit really hard and be easy to get. Now, I believe the Ahsoka is going to be highly sought after, and the clone, is that Rex, is going to be highly sought after. I get all my clones confused, so forgive me on that one. But this is a pretty decent wave, a pretty solid wave, and it seems like they're going to put quite a bit of resources towards it so that we can get them without having to pay ridiculous prices. So we're going to be getting some carbonized versions of Vintage Collection Mandalorian figures, the armor and the villain, and I'm thinking it's Moff Gideon, but it is kind of interesting that we're getting all these carbonized ones. It adds $5 to the price, and I don't know, they sell well even though they add the $5 to the price. So it's crazy that they sell as well as they do. So we'll see how this one goes. So speaking of remaking figures, just to remake them and make them special like carbonized, well, we're going to get the Black Series versions of carbonized in the credit collection. Now, what this credit collection is to have a little something that goes with the Mandalorian, and it's a different style of card back, which I think the card backs look great, and I like the way that looks. But it was so hard to get the first ones then I don't even know if I'm in on this because I didn't get the rest of them. So why continue a line that I don't even have? And one more thing that I haven't talked about the Bad Batch in a while, but they are going to have the season 2 out in 2022, and it is going relatively well. We did have a few sort of relatively uneventful episodes, and then the last one seemed to be a really eventful episode. So they're going to sort of put us at a big giant ending to build us up towards season 2 is my belief. And of course, I'm not going to throw any spoilers out there or anything, but I'm having fun watching it. My family is having fun watching it, so it's a pretty good show. So let me know what you think about this week's weekly news in review. What other crazy fun stuff is going on out there that I did not talk about, that I did not cover? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.